Welcome to another episode of Behind the Catch Fence. I'm your host, David Hoffman. We're only a matter of weeks away from the Daytona 500 and NASCAR's return. So to ramp it up, we have reigning Cup Series champion Joey Logano joining us, fresh off the racetrack at Bowman Gray. Joey, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, doing great. You?
Hanging in there. Obviously, you had a pretty long night there at Bowman Gray. How would you assess this? Yeah, kind of going into it. How would you assess the event as a whole?
I thought, if you're a race fan, it was awesome. I I remember I was driving home Saturday night. I called my wife and she asked me how it was. I'm like, boy, it's brutal. Like it's gonna be tough out there. And she goes, well, I know one thing, it's entertaining. She just watched that TV and just everybody clobbering each other. As frustrating that is from behind the wheel, I see why they pack the place out every weekend. Like I get it. It's fun to watch. There's a lot of drama. It's real too. So it's definitely was a lot, but I thought the environment was awesome. The fans were great. Everyone's right on the racetrack. It's a pretty cool experience for everybody. And the racing was good, right? I mean, there's the beating and banging like everybody expected, and the retaliation moments of what Bowman Gray brings on. But then there was those long green flag runs where more authentic racing was happening, where you can move around a racetrack, tires were wearing out, cars were comers and goers kind of thing, where you can actually move through the field. I thought that was cool. Right when you see what Ryan did from going to the back to the front, right? I mean, he was able to pass his way. He had a really good car and was able to do it. So, I thought overall pretty cool event.
And do you feel a tight quarter mile track like that could find its way on like the regular season schedule, or do you think that's sort of still a exhibition type of race?
I think it's better to keep it an exhibition race just because you can't put the full field out there.
Yeah.
You can't do that. I mean, we tried that one year, not all the whole field, but a larger field in LA, and it was a disaster. There's just too many cars, and you can't get any racing going. And yeah, I get that people like the bumping and banging and the wrecks and all that, but I know people don't want to see a caution every third lap, and where it's just there's more caution laps than green laps. Like you don't want that either. Um, so I don't think you can have like last chance qualifiers and heat races and have a points event. Like it doesn't work. But for what it is, it's great. And the fact that we can race in a stadium, that's really neat because that opens up the opportunities to go anywhere, right? We can race anywhere. We've proven that. Any stadium or parking lot you see, we can bring the cup cars there. We've proven that.
Hey, you never know where you guys could go next. And switching over to Daytona coming up here in a couple weeks. It seems like even though the racing and strategy itself has changed over the years, you still find yourself up front every year. It seems like just I'm sure it's somewhat luck and everything, but what's been the key for you, to have more consistently good runs and be up front at these super speedway tracks?
Well, I've never looked at it as luck. I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in superstitions either. I believe in hard work and preparation. And I feel like that's where we've been able to put ourselves in position a lot of times. Now, yeah, do we get caught up in stuff every now and again? Yeah, it's part of speedway racing, right? Where the level of intensity is so high, especially when you think of the Daytona 500. No one's really thinking about points that much. They're just like, how do I win the Great American Race? That's all that matters. So everyone's just throwing haymakers one after another, right? These huge blocks that turn into wrecks. You probably will see all that happen again. But you got to be in position. You got to be close, and so you work hard and to be able to control what you can control to get yourself positioned in the best possible spot, and you race it out. And if you wreck, oh well, you're wrecked. But if not, you have a chance to win the Daytona 500.
And you had that chance back in 2015, and it's crazy to say it's been 10 years. I mean, it makes me feel old because I was like, what, 16, 17 watching that. You're like, man, that flies by. And I'm sure for you,
If
it's
that
like,
makes you feel old, I feel way older after you say that. So really cool. Thanks for that.
hey, you still are young in my book. I mean,
Thanks. Thanks. Way to backtrack.
yeah. What do you, it's obviously 10 years back on whatever else. What do you still feel look back on with that day that still kind of is firmly in your mind every time you go back there?
Yeah, I mean that race was so special to be able to accomplish that victory. That I always remember across the start finish line, rolling in the victory lane, but also all the cool stuff that comes along with it. Right, you go to New York City and a media tour up there. That was neat because this is the first time I really did anything like that. Um, Even to this day, I take my kids now out to the museum in front of Daytona, and they have the concrete where your hand and your foot stepped in, from when you won it that day. And it's cool. Like to me, a little sentimental thing, but I think it's really cool. My kids go out there, they put their hand in my hand for it. It's kind of cute. So I think that stuff's pretty cool.
And obviously coming off another championship from last year. And how do you handle going into this year? Obviously, you've done it two times before as well. How do you handle having that target on your back and knowing that you got to be even better than the year before?
But you got to be better than the year before, no matter what, right? Like whether you won or not, you got to be better. And so nothing really changes from my perspective, right? I mean, I think a lot of people like talking about like you're defending a title, it's going to be harder, all this stuff. And there's a couple more obstacles that we'll have to, tackle, right? Because you got to keep everyone hungry, right? Not just yourself, but your whole team, right? You can't get complacent and comfortable and think that what you did last year is good enough because it won't be, like you just said. So you got to kind of keep everybody fired up, and I think as a leader of the team, that's a key point right now. But I think last night we did a good job coming out of the gates. Pretty solid. We had some damage early in the race, and we were able to fix that and get a decent finish out of the night. It's a good kind of knock the rust off race and get everyone fired back up. So that's good.
And what do you feel? Obviously, last year with the playoffs was a whole, unique instance, and you guys got hot when it mattered and everything. Just what do you feel is the biggest thing you learned about yourself during last year's playoff run, with it being a little bit different from your previous times of, get winning a championship?
I mean, every year is unique, but I mean, if I look at the way we won the championships, all three of them, it's been the same recipe. Win the first race of the round of eight, set yourself up for more prep for than anybody when you get to Phoenix and go win there. It's been pretty similar. Like I think we kind of have an idea of what it takes to do it. So yeah, I don't know why that is, but it's for our team that seems like it works.
And final question for me, just the one thing I thought was cool with you winning the title last year was you're now tied with a guy that you replaced over at JGR and Tony Stewart there with three championships now. Just did you ever believe coming into the series that you'd have as many championships as the guy that you grew up watching and and being a fan of?
Well, when I was 18, yes. When I was 20, no. Like when I was 18, I thought I had everything figured out. By the time I was 20, I realized I had nothing figured out. And by the time I was 21, I was looking for a job. So it happened that quickly. And I think seeing what my career has turned into ever since I've been with Roger Penske and Team Penske, everyone that works there, and Shell, and Ford. It's amazing how it turned around from what it was looking like it was going to be. So yeah, I'm very blessed to be in the situation. I mean, I got an amazing team. I got an amazing family. There's a lot of times I got to pinch myself when I take a second to reflect, but also just got to stay out the windshield, right? Not done yet. It's not good enough yet. Got to keep going. Like you said, everyone's gunning at you, and you got to do more than tomorrow than you did yesterday.
Well, Joey, I appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully Daytona goes well. Maybe you hoist another Harley J. Earl trophy, but yeah, good luck
I'll
this
mind
season.
it.
Yeah, right.
That's good.
You have a good day.
All right, see you, man.